Recording in progress.
All right, we're gonna get started. Thank you everyone for joining us. I'd like to call to order the June 10th, 2022 meeting of the Board of Fire Commissioners. We are joined by our Fire Chief, Chris Ray, and then our Commissioners Stanley Chandler, Al Tietzel, and Mark Brown. And so we do have a quorum today. And so thank you all very much for joining. We haven't had a meeting in quite some time. And so I would like to make a motion to be able to approve the minutes from our last meeting. So thank you, Al. Thank you. So all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Great. Chief, do you want to just give us a quick update on things? I know we've got a couple of new business items, but do you have any general updates that you want to give us about how the department is doing? I know we did a training a couple days ago. Maybe chat about.
Central Hudson came to us and asked, they're doing a training. They were mandated to do 2 trainings, so they asked us to join in with them to Kingston Plaza. So we had an engine and a truck over there. We actually participated in the training. It was at a natural gas leak, which is nothing new to the city, but so it was, the training lasted from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it was very well received by our people, well received by Central Hudson. So Central Hudson has done training for us in the past, so we just kind of reciprocate on training them. We are putting in for repairs on stations 2 and 3 as far as the brickwork goes. So the repointing of stations 2 and 3. The new engine come here maybe March 2023. That's the latest date that I got on it.
And we ordered that when?
October of
22, 21.
21, that's October 21. So, we just continue to train. We got training next month again with the OFPC and training in September again with Office of Fire Prevention. So a lot of training, and there's a lot of new equipment that we are putting in for through grants. One being, actually 2 of them being boats. One that we can trailer and take any place we want to go, and the other one for down on the dock down there. So a lot of things happening on the special ops portion of it, of the fire service.
Okay.
Let me ask just one question. With the recent shootings in Buffalo and Texas, first responders, the police department, state police, whatever, are we connected into, if we had a problem, let's say at the high school or any school, that coordination goes out, that you guys come and help in some way? And I don't know what that somebody is.
We have 2 people that are trained to enter the building with the ESU, enter in with them, and then just start taking triaging patients within the building before being brought out. We also have protective equipment in car 3 where we can put 2 firefighters in, and they can get into a warm zone and be underneath an armed guard and start triaging and caring for patients within the building, also as the other 2 go deeper into the building with ESU.
Okay.
So we have that, plus we have 2 bags all set up for a mass casualty.
Good, good.
And we also have, we ordered a rescue vehicle last year. The police department received a grant in cooperation with the town of Ulster, and it will, it's an armored vehicle that's designed just to do rescues. So in instances like that, our staff can be in the vehicle and can go, closer to the scene and then be able to, bring people out in the vehicle to be able to get them.
That brings up a good point. You got the Sopas area for the school system, you got town of Ulster.
Yeah.
Two schools out there, so.
Yeah, we train cooperatively. The team that the chief talked about, Ulster is on that team with us. So we're just one joint team, at least for Kingston and Ulster. Sheriff's Department generally covers everything else outside. Yeah.
I look at it all hands aboard.
Yeah.
Chief, I also noticed you had 2 road calls already this year.
Yeah.
So are we on with Green now?
We are on with Greene County. We respond with Greene County up to the Hunter area on, it would be basically like a 3rd alarm. Where first alarm is Greene County, second alarm is Centerville, the next closest road, and 3rd would be us. So But we've already been up the mountain once, so it's a Black Grove for a hiker. So, but that is, again, that's one of the special ops, that's one of the special, trainings that's coming up. So, pretty much, we're doing pretty much all emergency services, special ops in the county.
That's good. I don't think too many people know about the outside our particular group. I just think it's great.
Well, we put it on Facebook and we're,
Okay.
and, again, when training comes, there'll be more with, more pictures of Facebook. Pretty much by the end of September, our goal is that we can send 6 people with the highest level of training automatic that are on duty out to wherever they gotta go.
Okay.
So,
You're gonna be one of my guest speakers in your future.
I'm busy that day.
Busy. We'll work on it.
All right, well, thank you,
Don't
Chief.
worry, Chris, he promised me that. I never ended up there.
The only thing you worry about, but don't get a free lunch.
All right.
You do.
So thank you, Chief, for that report. We don't have any old business necessarily from the previous meeting to catch up on, but we do have a couple of new business items. The first is as part of one of the grants that the chief is working with the grants management department on submitting is for a new boat that will be able to respond to calls, in the Roundout and in the Hudson, and would in essence replace Marine One. We, in order to submit that grant, we needed to refresh our mutual aid agreement with the county. We've obviously had a mutual aid agreement with the county for a long time, but as part of one of the grant requirements, we're required to get that redone in the new format. And so as part of the resolution, and I'll read it, is that we as a fire board have to, adopt the following resolution, which basically says that we as a board approve participation of the Kingston Fire Department in the Ulster County Fire Mutual Aid Plan from time to time, and further certifies that Ulster County, through its Deputy Director of Emergency Services and Fire Coordinator, shall comply with the provisions of the plan, and that there are basically no limitations or conditions or restrictions on the fire agency from providing prompt assistance, and that the Deputy Director of Emergency Services shall be notified in writing if any such limitations are imposed, and that the fire agency shall respond to all calls for assistance from another fire agency through the Ulster County Communication Center, also known as UC 911, and that we hereby acknowledge and accept financial responsibility pursuant to applicable law, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution will be filed with the Ulster County Department of Emergency Services. And so we need to move this forward, and then we need to adopt it. And so would a board member, or commission member like to move that forward? All right.
Second.
It's the same basically.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. All right. So I'll fill this out. All right. And so then I need a vote. Al seconded. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Adopted 4-0. So that was that. Well, thank you. And we'll let you know, I think the grant is due today. And so we'll be getting that in. I don't know how long it'll take for us to hear back. But is it
It'll be quick.
it is a
It'll be
Coast
by
Guard,
September.
is it a federal Coast Guard grant?
The Port of
New York,
Port of New York.
Yeah.
It's a FEMA grant.
So
Through the Port.
it'll be the first time we've applied for this, and that could be a great opportunity. I think it's a little over $500,000. So it's like buying another fire truck.
Did someone say one that the sheriff's department got? Boy, that's a nice book. I saw that the other day.
It's actually going to be the exact same thing with, with just a little bit bigger spot for where the the monitor's gotta be from water, that kind. But there's gonna be the same boat, so now it's interoperable because they can drive ours, we can drive theirs, same boat, same manufacturer, same length, everything is.
If you haven't seen it, just go down, it's parked down at Marine Dock. It's really nice. I saw it from Post Park, really nice. Very nice.
And so that was so one business item we have for today, and then the other, is the chief and I have been working really closely, on another grant that we've been awarded, through the state, to be able to, create a new program in the fire department, to be able to respond to, mental health crisis calls, basically, with, kind of a unique, partnership between our fire department and our EMTs in particular, and then an actual crisis counselor, someone who is a trained mental health professional. They will respond in the same vehicle to the call, assess the person both for either medical issues or mental health related issues, and then determine whether the mental health professional can, provide assistance for this person immediately to, bring them down from a crisis state, and or whether the person needs to be transported to currently the, emergency room or future, either the emergency room or the county's new stabilization center that they're creating just down the street here, which will be open 24 hours, which is kind of a step below an emergency room visit. And so we received a $350,000 grant to be able to get this program up and running for the first year. And then we have funds set aside as part of our federal stimulus to pay for it for the next couple. And so what this grant allows is for the chief to be able to hire another firefighter, us to be able to partner, to be able to bring in a mental health professional with the county, and then be able to allow us to buy an ambulance. This past week, the Common Council certified a certificate of need for us to submit to the state, which is required for us to be able to create an ambulance service in the city of Kingston. And so we've submitted that, I think that's right.
Yes.
So it's been submitted already. And this is really the first step in really a long-term pilot project as to seeing, how this works and how successful we are at, managing, a ambulance service in the city that is run by the Kingston Fire Department. It's a,
People, you got it.
yeah, it's a,
I tried so hard.
I think that it's great. I think the biggest issue is the backroom operation, counting and all that stuff with the insurance companies, okay? It's just not, and the time being spent at a hospital, getting a person taken in, and then you gotta fill out certain documentation. It's just gonna be a learning curve for everybody, and I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm just walking.
A lot of fun, it's ambulances.
I really think it's a long time coming, and I think the people in our city will well appreciate. Let me just say, 1974, my father was taken to the hospital with raised ambulance service. Just threw my father on the back of the ambulance. My mother was sitting in the front seat or parked about forward like this. The person driving just got let out of jail. You know what I'm saying? It's the credibility, and I think with our department, we have that credibility.
yeah. Yeah, and I have to say that the chief has really just taken this and run with it. And he's, been really good at communicating also with the staff about, what's happening. And so we can get a system, but our goal is, if everything aligns, to be able to get this up and running by the fall.
Chris, quick question. Sorry, Steve.
The insurance, do we get reimbursed insurance for each patient that we transport?
We have not even explored that yet. The grant right now is covering all of our expenses. And so at this point, we're not ready to go down that. If we were to expand outside of this program, and eventually, once we figure out how this is all working, we know that exists, and there are third-party providers that would, and there's a whole lot of state law that goes behind like what, we can and can't do, as a public entity, if someone doesn't have insurance, we will still treat them anyway and transport them. And so that's, but there are lots of interesting things about that we have to still explore.
It's a pilot program for 1 year. So after 1 year, at least then I would have, go back to the mayor and say, okay, these are the statistics that I have that this created. So then we can go through with our third party if we choose to and say, this is how many calls we did for 1 year. So that, they can get a sense of, because I believe it's charged on a bigger percentage.
Yeah.
And obviously the higher call volume, the lower percentage, type of thing. So we need to create numbers first, real numbers. We just can't, guess that.
Yeah.
And to give this 1 year pilot program, we'll have those numbers, to present to anybody.
My question was, is the law still, since we're a municipality, once we submit our certificate of need, it's approved, right?
Yeah.
We cannot be turned down, where the commercial ones can be turned down.
Right.
Municipality can't.
Plus the Kingston Fire Department had their own agency officer for, you were there still then.
But the reason that's so important is, if you were to start an ambulance service right now, and you went out for a certificate of need, it can take years. Where, because we're a municipality, it gets its stamp, okay, move on, which is good, like you said, because it gets us into.
I just think the community at large will welcome this concept with open arms. There are some issues with the current, it's all we're different bodies, so to speak. You're transporting, have emergency.
Well, it's also going to allow the city, all the emergency agencies in the city, is that they're not going to get tied up. Meaning that the phone call is going to be, basically it's going to be filtered as far as, is it violent or non-violent? If it's a non-violent, and they just want to, if they're voluntarily transport, then they'll just send me the bus. They're not going to send KPD. So that, alleviates the cop from being tied up. Then, if it's violent, then KPD is dispatched to we are not. And then if they calm the situation down where it becomes voluntary transport, then we show up and then KPD will leave. So we're freeing up resources in the, throughout the community here.
When we had loss of power in the neighborhood back in February,
Yeah.
we had a lady down the street about my age, Alma, who was in a lounge chair. Let her, she could move back, she couldn't get out.
Yeah.
The fire department came.
Right.
And one of the firemen didn't have a battery, she didn't have any batteries in the house. So I had to run down to Walgreens or someplace, bring in a couple 9-volt batteries just to get her out of the chair. For the length of, she didn't go back into the chair. My neighbor was a pretty good mechanic, he's trying to make a device that in the event there's a power failure, at least she could press a button and get out of, and she couldn't get out until they had it. So I just thought, kind of see her run down the street and go back and we had to get some batteries and get out.
She wasn't the only one that we did
Huh?
that. She was not the only one we did that for.
I'm just,
We
I know, I don't know about the other, but I just think it's
Right.
the human side of our fire department.
Which we, as a chief or a previous firefighter, that's been pounded into our heads since day one, they walk into the door.
They're our customers.
Yeah.
That's basically it. We do what we can for them. I just think this is a win-win. This is something that we've thought about in '86 when Chris and I came on the job.
Yeah.
This was being discussed. And for us old timers now, it's good to see it finally come around because it's something that's long overdue.
Yeah, so that's the update. We'll keep everybody, as we move forward. And Chris is speccing out ambulances and at this point, the grant, may not allow us to buy a brand new ambulance, but it's at least a start for us to be able to get someone moving.
For boats, 500,000.
Yeah.
Just imagine what they is.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's all I had. Did you have anything else, Chief?
No, that was it. Stop at any time if you do anything. No, I do. That's it. Yeah. Thank you for coming and we'll walk this signed piece of paper downstairs across the hall and add it to our grant, and Natalie will submit today. Submit by.
All right, well, so do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting today?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Hal. Second, Stanley, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? All right, well, thank you all very much.
Let's do the flag folding again. Okay?
Yeah, whatever.
I know, but just pick up a couple guys that, I don't know.